I wanted to make a video, right? And it's called Become Less Robotic, More Robust, No Malfunction. And what I mean by that is basically, bro, I think the average person, the issue with the average person is that they're employed, they're governed to such a strict degree to the point where they cannot imagine any scenario outside of the regulations of their employer or the government, right? But when a scenario naturally happens in life to the point where I've got to turn off my notifications because I'm getting like sales and stuff, but anyway, when it comes to like life, right? Life is going to be trying and testing for every single individual participating. And so it's kind of a thing of like, why can't you be adaptable to anything and everything that's going to happen in life? Because there are going to be some things that happen where it could be random, bro. Like this is more so I don't know, I guess more so science fiction, but a zombie apocalypse. Like, are you ready for that? If there was a zombie apocalypse, could you like, ration all of the food and, find out hideout place and like, could you just be adaptable? Can you, familiarize yourself with the unfamiliar situations and scenarios that happen in life? Because if you lose a family member or something like that, are you gonna let society say that it should take you years to get over the death of someone or someone leaving you, a divorce, or like, no, bro. As long as we're breathing, every single minute and second and day and hour and week and month and year and however long time frame, decade, century, and that's pretty much a century is pretty much our entire lives. Most people won't even make it to live to a century, but you never know with the new technologies that's coming out, progression of AI, progressions of science. You never know. In a couple of years from now, there could be some things that come out where we could extend our human life experience. But as far as we know, people are only living for up to a century. Luckily or unluckily, some people are living after that, and that's down to your own interpretation of whether that's lucky or unlucky. Because I don't know if I'd want to live a natural human life after 100 unless it involves some type of like enhancement to the point where I don't feel so old, even if I am so old. Because it sucks to be super old and really feel how old you are, and yeah, just not be able to like. I'm really young saying this, so obviously I'm gonna this is just my outlook and my worldview for right now. I don't know when I get there, but there's a reason like everyone would the main thing people want is time. In life, people want time. It's not even money. Money is just made up. As I said in the previous videos, a currency, it's like it's man-made stuff, but the real tangible stuff that you're born and then you die is impossible to escape from. And you obviously want to push back the clocks as much as possible. That's why I weightlift. That's why and I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect human. I have some bad habits. I like nicotine. It helps me keep focused and calm. And I know it's a damage to my health, but it's a temporary it's like a focus. It's like a focus inhibitor. So I just use it casually, and I don't know. It's quite suave for the way I live my life. So I like nicotine, but I know that it's probably taken some years off my life, but it is what it is. But other than that, it's just like you got to adapt to situations in life. You're going to allow someone to tell you, yeah, it should take you years to get over the grief of losing someone. No, like I'm going to have grief, but whilst I'm having that grief, like let me see how to make more money. Let me see how to, I don't know, improve my health, longevity, like my physique, my diet, my sleep. My cortisol levels, like, am I spiking in cortisol? Am I cortisol maxing or cortisol minning? Like, I want to be cortisol minning, I want to feel like I'm walking on cloud nine all the time, and it's possible to feel like that. You don't need drugs for that. You just need like this internal, self-actualization of like, there's serious stuff going on in the world, but at the end of the day, it's not all that serious because at the same time, I only have 24 hours to do what I need to do. So as long as I make sure I'm doing what I need to do, everything else will be handled and taken care of. But people stress that they don't have enough time in a day. And I get it. It does feel like that because it's like an emotion you feel. But realistically, we do, right? That's just the way the human life works, So until like we get any enhancements for a longer lifespan, what are you going to do? Got to accept it. Got to keep pushing forward and move on. So that's like the message for the video. It's just take everything on the chin and even if it's really bad or really good, don't really feel a type of way about it. Just be like, okay, this is just what's happening now. And what can I do whilst this is happening? Or whilst this has just happened? And that's just how you got to live. Because if you don't and you sit in sorrow and grief and sadness, and you're not going to progress. You know, you're going to halt all the other things that you could be doing that will actually be a benefit in addition to your life, just because you want to revel in this feeling of sadness. And you got to wake up, because at the end of the day, doing that is just letting life pass you by. And I've done that enough in so many different ways, bro, to tell you it's not worth it. It was never worth it. But I was younger at the time. My brain maybe wasn't fully developed. So I was thinking like, oh, things will just turn around if I just mope around and just, no, I won't. You know, I actually had to take advantage of the good things that were happening, the interest that I had, and just be like, let me just get more deep into the interest that I have, so that when this, you know, period of grief and sadness passes away, I will have a lot more stock in the things I'm interested in. And, you know, I'll come out the other side like a lot brighter and just a lot better as a human being overall. So, like, don't let, you know, nuances throw you off of your whole life path, because that's not a good route to take. And I've been someone who was heavy into like self-deprecation and stuff like that for a long time when I was younger, and I grew out of that. And it's just like, if anyone's going through that right now, like you're an impulsive teenager and you just like to self-deprecate when any little, you know, annoyance kind of happens, you have to try and reel that back and be like, okay, but what good can I do though? You know, because there's always something good you could be doing. Always, bro. Like, you just have to think positively, and you'll look around and you'll see stuff and it'll give you inspiration. You'll be like, hold on, I can do that. Or I can do this. And that is actually what helps you get over like the sadness and grief, is by doing something good at the same time. Even when you don't feel like it, because you do it long enough, you're going to feel like it. And guess what? The sadness and grief is slowly drifting away into the atmosphere. Like, you don't have to deal with that anymore. So, become adaptable. But people get confined to rules and restrictions to the point where they can't imagine operating if they were to get fired from their job, or if, you know, they got locked up for a period of time. Like, I'm not scared of these things. Like, part and parcel, some of these things that actually happened to me, and some other things that haven't, like, I'm ready to face it and go head on and be like, bro, if I got locked up for like a couple of years, guess what I'd be doing? Man, I'd be reading books and getting smarter, reading like, I don't know, 48 Laws of Power and all these other different types of books, like Slumdog Millionaire, and like, I'd just be like head down and locked in, and I'd just be like doing my reading, I'd be doing my, you know, my lifting, I'd be doing my, bro, I'd be doing a lot. Like, I would find stuff to do, you know, I'd be making music, you know. Yeah, and she's interrupting me. Yeah, in a bit. But yeah, that's what I'd be doing. Like, it's that simple. So it's easy to turn your life around if you want it. It's not easy to turn your life around if you don't want it, because you're going to fall into self-deprecation habits, right? But if you want to turn your life around, it's easy, because all you're going to be like is like, right, okay, I'm doing everything that I can. I'm going to grab life by the nuts and just go forward with it. And when you do that for long enough, bro, literally you get to like control your whole reality. You get to like realize that, you know what, everything is in my control, you know. But the minute that you let go of the control, you're like, oh, everything that happens is out of my control. Oh, this happened, woe is me. Like, I'm always being attacked, I'm always being persecuted, I'm always being prosecuted, I'm always in an entanglement. No Jada Pinkett Smith, but yeah, I'm always in situations. And it's like, no, like, part and parcel of that is that you put yourself there. Maybe you just had some bad energy and you just carried that on, and eventually some bad stuff happened. That's kind of the way it goes. But it's not for all situations. You could be having a consistent good energy and some bad things will come up, because you need that resistance to be able to be like, oh, okay, it's like a universe testing you, for example, or God, however you want to, you know, frame it. But you could say it's like this. The universe, I'd just been eating grapes, so I had to get rid of that. But the universe will be like, oh, you've been having some good energy for a month. You had good results in your business. You're happy. You're smiling all the time. Like you're in this cheery mood. Let something bad happen to you. And then we're going to see like, are you still, even when the bad things happen, after a period of good, you're going to go through a period of bad things happening. And are you still going to be able to keep that good, upbeat, positive energy, to help you get through it quicker so you can get back into the period of good? Or are you going to have this bad energy now that you've entered a period of bad and prolong it? And I realized, this reality is so nuts, bro. Like, all it is energy. People just respond to energy. Like, everything responds to energy. It's not just people, it's money, it's everything. Women and men relationships, like the nuclear family is built upon energy. Like, everything is energy, bro. And I was saying this in a previous video, but I'm regurgitating it because it's just, I realized that's what it is. These YouTube videos, when they pick up and get views in the algorithm, it's all energy. Like, everything I'm saying is what I feel. And from what I know, part and parcel of fact and opinion, but it all correlates, it all correlates. So, yeah, I mean, don't let things keep you down, and don't let things also keep you up to the point where you think it can't fall down as well, because it will, and you'll have to get back up again. You got to maintain that grace of like, even when things are going good and bad, it doesn't matter if things are going good or if things are going bad, because at the end of the day, it's like, I've done everything that I could and I'm proud of that. And so you have this internal like acceptance of yourself and pride, because you're like, things are going bad. People could look from the outside in and be like, oh, I don't want his life. His life is terrible. But for him, he's like, I'm doing everything in my life that I can to make it work for me. So he's actually proud of himself in the moment. Now, of course, does he want more? Yeah, but with him wanting more, he's going to only get better and do more and more. And eventually he'll have more. And he'll probably overtake you, that hater who's looking in the sidelines and being like, I don't want his life. I like my life, or my life is better than his. Because you're probably not even all that appreciative of, your life, or maybe you're not putting in as much effort as you could be putting in. You've got a helper and you've got a handler, which has gotten you to that position. You haven't had to do enough things for yourself to figure things out. And so he'll surpass you because he's doing more work than you. So it's only a time lapse as to why he's currently where he is. But ultimately, he's going to overtake you. If you're just kind of coasting along and you've done all this work, but then you fall off the track, like, it's only going to keep going downhill, and you'll see that, that overtake in time. So it's like, don't ever let anything like get you out of your element. It's really important, and it's really hard to do. Like, I'm not saying this stuff is easy, because you have to reprogram your mind. You have to fix your dopamine system so that when good things happen, you can feel good about it, but you're not going to be like overwhelmingly good. Like, oh, this is the best thing ever. It's more like, no, I deserve it. So if it's happening, it's cool. And if bad things happen, you're going to be like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. No, I probably deserve it. I was slacking anyway, and then some bad stuff happened. Even if it's not relevant to what I was slacking in, but it just goes to show you that, like, maybe you should stop slacking and get back on the train, because when you do, bad things happen, right? But if you're constantly on it and you're like, damn, I'm enjoying the ride and I'm doing as much as I can and I'm getting faster and better and stronger, then you're going to be like, when good things happen, you're going to be like, yeah, well, I deserve that, It's all about perspective, and you got to make sure your perspective is positive. Like, positivity, bro, is powerful. Like, I would say the most wealthiest people on the planet are the most positive people on the planet. That's why they're wealthy. Because think about it. How many trials and tribulations will Bill Gates, will Steve Jobs, rest in peace, will Jeff Bezos, will Elon Musk, will all these billionaire guys, right, have had to go through in order to get to where they are and still be able to make more achievement and more progress on top of where they currently are? Soon in the future, they're going to be trillionaires, right? Because we don't have them now, but they're going to be the trillionaires. And then obviously the newer generation coming up has a chance to do it as well, unless they're cooked watching TikTok videos all day. But even I do that sometimes, but I don't know, part and parcel of the environment I was raised in. So yeah, I guess I can blame that. But on a more positive outlook, it's more like, bro, Jeff Bezos could have stopped Amazon before it became Amazon, but he didn't, and then it became Amazon. You see what I'm saying? Because that positivity of like, I'm going to make this happen and it's going to fucking happen. Like, it can't not happen. I don't care what happens around me. I don't care what happens to me. Bro, it's gonna happen whether anyone likes it or not. And he thought like that and continued to act like that until it really happened. So when it happened, it becomes natural to the point where it's second nature, and then it continues to happen. Amazon goes from being a rising company to the biggest one in the world, and maintains being the biggest one in the world for, eons, bro. I don't know how like the length of time that we're talking about, but just a really long time. It's positivity, you know. The most wealthy, you can't get wealthy with being negative. If you're bro, unless it's I mean, I guess you could be extremely negative, but there are people who, I don't know, because look, I would say it's like this. It's probably performative negativity. Like, if you're seeing anyone get really popular off of being like super negative, I mean, you can, because it's a sensationalism. It's sensational, right? To see someone who's overly negative or overly positive. I'll say that, but you want to be the extreme. You want to be unique. You want to be either extremely positive or extremely negative, because it's usually the people who are either or of the extreme who get extremely wealthy. The everyday average people who are like not extremely positive or negative about anything, to the point where they're kind of like numb people. They're like NPCs. They like don't like, I don't know. They're not pushing or striving for something, whether it's in a positive or negative way. They usually get like just the bare bones, no results. I'd rather like, or minimal results, maybe not no results, but average results. I'd rather risk trying to get extremely high results and get no results than maintain being average. That's me personally. I found out that's the type of person I am. So I'm not gonna let up on that. I'm gonna chase my dreams until I'm dead, bro. That's the point of life, ain't it? Why would I live one life to serve, to be subservient, and yet still be broke or still be just okay? No, bro, I can't just be okay. I either have to be down bad, or I have to be like really rich or really poor, bro. Because inspiration comes from being extremely poor. If you're extremely poor, you can get rich because you have the more hunger than like 99.9% of people around you. If you're extremely rich, like, you know, again, it's the same thing. Like, you're just figuring out like, okay, who else is rich as me, and how can I, or richer than me, and how can I use that to make more money? Like, but it's all about energy, bro. And I feel like some people are putting their energy into the wrong things. They're putting energy into things that are not, that don't have a good enough payoff. And it's like, you got to put your energy into things that are a little bit more timeless, like a business, for example, right? You put your energy into a business for 5 years, 10 years. Over 10 years, it starts running on itself. You can hire employees and they do the job that you used to do, because you can explain the in and outs, the step-by-step process of the job. You got the frameworks and the blueprint, and you can hand it to them and they just copy and paste it. And there you go. You have a business that's running on itself. You're making money without even having to be there. All you need to have is oversight of profit. Yeah, pretty much profits, like yearly, the annum profits. Yeah, did we make more this year or last year? If we made less than last year, why did we make less, and what can we do to make more? You come up with the new plan, you insert that plan, and the employees, they copy and paste it, and you go again, and then at the end of the year, you might make more profit because you finally kind of cracked the code in a specific area that was lacking, or areas that were lacking, in order to make more profit. So that's how this stuff goes, right? But you can't do that work in a job, because you need to show up day in, day out, and it doesn't run on itself when you're working the job, because you're the employee, you're the one running the business. People don't understand that if you're an employee, you're running the business. If you're the employer, like, you're not running the business, the customers are running the business for you. All you're doing is you're just advertising, and from the advertisement, you receive like revenue. You receive the ad revenue, right? But if you're actually doing the daily operations of you're covering all the factors of the business, or a specific factor of the business, like other than advertising. Say it's like the actual manual labor and you're having to go to and from and, you know, all this extra work and you're not getting paid that much for it. Like, it's not really worth it, you know? So I just had to look at the playing field that I was inserted in and realize, like, I didn't want to be there. Like, I want to be something more. I want to be something better, and I will be. And I don't care what people think of me, because at the end of the day, if they could, they would, they wouldn't. And that's why they can't. So, yeah, man. Sometimes I have to speak in this tone because I got to grab your attention and make you think a little bit, right? So that's it for this video, bro. That's the message.